In this video, we're going to be looking at UiPath Studio. We're going to be taking a peek at some of the key features, and we're going to create our very first process. Let's open the application by clicking the blue UiPath icon at the bottom. Once the screen loads, we can see that we're greeted with an option to create a new process or to use existing templates. In this case, we're going to create a new process and we're going to call it Hello LinkedIn. Click Create. And once it loads, we're greeted with the main development studio. Now, on the left-hand side, we have a pane for projects. This is where all of your project files will be stored. So your main.xaml and any associated workflow files that belong to this project. In the next pane, we have activities. This is where all of the hard work is done. We have different sections for app integration, which includes activities such as working with CSV files, Excel files, and mail. We have a number of different activities to do with programming, which allows us to manipulate string, work with data tables, other system activities, and very importantly, some UI automation tools, which allows us to click on buttons, click into text fields, and do many other things like data scraping. Additionally, we have a snippets pane, which is an area where we can save existing code and small samples of code. On the right-hand side, we have properties pane. The properties pane is associated with the activities. So for example, if we had a mouse click text activity, we can see that the properties are significantly different than with other activities. In this example, we can see we have properties such as the text of the string that we need to click and the occurrence. Finally, we have the outline panel, which gives us a map of our overall process. In this, you'll be able to see all of the different activities and branches of activities that belong to your project. Importantly, in the top, we also have a search pane as well, which allows us to search for any activities or anything that you've named in a particular manner. This is very useful when you're trying to navigate your own workflow or someone else's workflow. Right, let's get started. So first of all, we need to select an activity from the left-hand side. In this case, we're going to create a message box. Type message box, drag the message box activity into the main panel, and let's type Hello LinkedIn. Press Ctrl S, alternatively click Save in the top left icon, and press Run. We can see a message box pops up straight away saying Hello LinkedIn, and congratulations, that's your first process built. One thing that we can do is, rather than having Hello LinkedIn as hard-coded text, we can also create what we call a variable. Now, a variable is just a container of some additional information. In this case, we're going to name our variable strName, and in the default value, we're going to enter LinkedIn. We're now going to change our message box. We're going to remove the LinkedIn text, which is hard-coded, and we're going to add a plus sign, and you can see the IntelliSense provides us with a prompt for strName because it knows that that's an existing variable. Press Tab to accept it and click off. Let's save and run, and let's see what happens. Here we go. We get the same result, but in this case, we've used the variable to populate the message box, not the hard-coded value. Fantastic. That's your first process created. In this video, we're going to work on a project which will teach us how best to use the activities of UiPath and learn some of the fundamental best practices for UiPath development. So we're going to go to the Acme test environment which UiPath have provided for us. This can be found at https://acmetest.uipath.com. If you don't have an account for this application, then please just register and you'll be provided with a password and account for the application. I'm going to log in with my credentials, which takes us into the main dashboard of the application. If you click on User Options and click Download Client and Support, we can click on Work Item 5, which gives us a PDF of the process that we want to develop. Let's download it so we have it on record. I've saved it into my Downloads folder. Okay, great. So let's have a look at that process. Once we've downloaded the PDF file, let's double-click it to open it. This is the process design document for the process that we want to look at. It's called the Calculate Client Security Hash process, and it's going to extract information from the Acme system and log into a website and obtain a hash code, and then proceed to update the information within the Acme Academy. We'll see this in detail in a second. So this document has information about the process, including the key objectives and also a process map. This is best practice for all RPA development and allows anyone picking up the process to see what the process should be doing. If we quickly scroll to the map of this particular process, we're going to log into the Acme System 1 web application, which we've already done. We're going to access the work items on the dashboard. So here's the work items section. Here's a list of all of the work items which are available within the Acme application. We're then going to select an activity of type WI5. So on the right-hand side here, you can see the type. We're only interested in items which have WI5 status. We're then going to copy the client information from the details page. To get to the details page, we need to click on the magnifying glass on the left-hand side. Here's the client information details. We're then going to open up the SH1 website. The URL for the SH1 website can be found here. Click on the link to access the website. And here is an input field which is expecting some information from us. If we go back to the PDD, it wants us to enter client ID, client name, and client country into this application. We can see client ID, copy, dash, client name, and client country. We click the hash key, and we're provided with a key that we can copy and place back into the Acme Academy. Going back to the PDD, the next step is to open the work item page, set the status to completed and the security hash as a comment. So we go back into the Acme Academy, we click update work item. In the comments, we enter the hash key that we've just been provided with. In the new status, we click completed and we select update work item. It's confirmed that the work item was updated accordingly. We click OK and we close the box down. That's the end of the process. And what we'll need to do is the same process for every single item which has a status of WI5.